What's going on, everyone? Scott here from the Breakevens, giving you another AFL Supercoach video today. Round two over and done. Another 50-50 round for me. I'm bringing back the phrase sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Um, the good thing is, though, we got a green arrow, and that is the most important thing, which means we keep climbing those ranks, even if it is just by a little bit. So, all happy there. We'll get into that very, very shortly. And being round two, it means we need to start looking at some break evens because the majority of our rookies and our mid prices have played two games now. So cash gen starts after this week, and it's very important. So we'll go through that after go through my team and the trades and whatnot. And then we'll look at some VC and C options. So before we get into that, though, make sure you give this video a like and you subscribe to the channel. The weekly, I almost said daily Supercoach videos. It's not the preseason. Weekly Supercoach videos. I'm hoping to try and get an extra one or two in here and there. Pretty busy at the moment, but make sure you subscribe for weekly Supercoach content. And you can find me on X at Breakevens Pod or on Facebook, The Breakevens. Everything is posted there, all news and what my team is doing, what the updates are, late moves, and the NRL, which I'll show you in a second, but I am smashing the NRL somehow. So we'll quickly have a look at that. So let's get into it. How did my team fare this week? Here we are, 1930 this week. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. We jumped 2018 spots, which I'm very happy with. Was hoping to get a little bit more, but Max Gorn had a poor week, which, look, it happens time to time, but Green Arrows is the main thing. Now, before we get into it, into my team, I just want to have a look at this. NRL, wait for it, a 1184, ranked 574th in NRL. Don't ask me how, but I'm that. So, for those who don't know, I'm not a big NRL fan, never really watch it, sometimes the State of Origin, but somehow I'm 574th. So, I'll keep you updated on that until my team wastes away and I'm doing shit. But aiming for top 100 in that this week, potentially. So, how did my team do? Let's get into it because that's what we're here for. We're here for AFL, not here for NRL. Wait for it to load here. Here we go. So 1930. Actually, give me a sec because I've already done my trades. I'll reverse that back and we will do that in a second. And here we are with the team that actually scored 1930. So we'll start in defense. Harry Sheasel, 81. Bit of a down game, even though North absolutely dominated. Looked to play a little bit more forward this week. Jordan Clark, 122, absolutely spot on. Love that. Averaging 114 at the moment. Matty Roberts, 115. He was on 90. And then a clutch tackle and free kick, which basically won Sydney the game. So he got a big boost. Definitely take that. Jaden Short, 71. Richmond decided that this week they wanted to move the ball a bit faster. So they didn't go through him. So he is a big red flag. Same with Perryman. Unfortunate for Collingwood, Reef McInnes went down very early with which is now an ACL injury. So Perryman basically got shoved in defense all game. And that basically has killed his potential. So he's another big red flag. And then our rookies, Zach Reed, 36, was the pick between him and Trainer. Not great, and Patton got dropped, but he had 30 odd touches in the reserves last week, so keep an eye on that. So defense sometimes maybe good, lots of times maybe shit. We move to the midfield. Lockie Neal 133 and Rosie 130. I went Rosie vice captain, and I was going to go into Neal. and then had to decide, Lockie Neal, how much is he going to outscore Rosie? And I thought it would have been by about 10 points, but I banked the Rosie VC um, just because it's early in the season. You bank the points, and I only missed 3 points, so I was happy there. Oliver 130 back to his best. Chera 113. Everyone, oh, Chera's going to play in defense, blah, blah, blah. He did in the third quarter, fair enough, which probably stopped him from getting 125 plus. Um, but I'll take 113 off low time on ground as well, which was interesting. Nathan O'Driscoll, 95. Absolutely beautiful. Sardis, 78. I will take that. Only problem is Sardis broke his finger before the game. He played through the game, did fine, but he's out for probably the next 2 weeks. He's going to miss this week, and then they have the bye. So he should be back after then. And just quickly on that, those worried about Parrish, Scott's come out and said Parrish will need a few weeks in the VFL before he gets to the AFL, which means he's probably not going to get there to round 7. So we're in round 3 at the moment. So round 4 is Essendon's bye. So you got rounds 5, 6, and possibly 7. So 3 weeks of cash gen for Sardis. So something to think about. Ashcroft, 72. I'll take that. Same with Lindsay, 78. Callahan obviously had the bye. Hasty didn't play, and Camperelli, 52. So far, I've maximized my points. And over here, we've got Max Gorn in the ruck, 67, had a really poor game. And DeConning, 104. Should have been a lot more, but he was out on his feet. Harry Boyd didn't play. And in the forward line, Horn Francis, 61, a little bit concerning, but Jack McRae, 162, took the PISS. Those who captained or vice captain McRae, well done to you. Caleb Daniel, 116, is more what we thought he'd do. Kako, 34, Hewitt, 58. I'll take the 58 from Hewitt, but 34 from Kako. He didn't look like his pressure wasn't there. He didn't look like Kako that we've seen in preseason round 1. He did go for a scan a couple of days before the game on a calf, so maybe it was still, a little bit sore, so that wasn't there. Hopefully he bounces back. And I loopholed Davidson with Stone, which I didn't end up having to do, which was good. He looked pretty good on that wing this game, but on the wing, it's going to be up and down. And Nev at 58, obviously a bit lower than what we expected. So that's the team. And as you can see, I'm going to use a boost this week. I'm happy with the midfield, happy with the rucks. Bailey Smith in. I'm pretty happy here. Did I click on Davidson? Yep, I didn't want to do that. So Davidson will probably be on for one of these guys. But yeah, pretty happy everywhere except for this defense. So I'm going all 3 trades in defense. So we're going short first, Perryman second, and I'm going Patton third. Absolutely destroying the back line. Now, we'll start with Perryman. Perryman was, he's got the bye this week, so he's probably first that needs to go. We will go. Let's go by average and see if my man's is here. Here he is. Joel Fraser, 370K, averaging 104. Got a break even and -1, which means he's going to make cash unless he gives away a free kick and gets subbed out. So he's going to make cash. If he scores an 81, he's going to go up 36K, which if you look at his price, that's 370,000. So he's going to be over 400K next week, basically probably around similar to what Perryman is now. So he's going in. Now that frees up 711K. I'm going to bring another Bulldog in Bailey Dale, averaging 134 after scoring 141. Break even at 29, so he's going to get that. If he scores 119, he goes up 40K. He's basically a keeper now for me. I'm happy there. He's got Carlton this week, which, scored well. He's got Freo scores well. And Brisbane, he usually scores well there. Now, looking at this summary, one thing I want everyone to look at is here Carlton rank versus defense. This is 16. The higher the number, as in, like going 1 to 18, means that that defenders score very well against Carlton. So if this was 1, it means Carlton are the hardest team for defenders to score. So being 16, 18, 17, 16, Carlton are the third easiest team for defenders to score. Bailey Dale is looking the yums. So he comes in. I've got 183K. So we'll go here, filters, players I can afford. And really, it's between Riley Bice and Connor O'Sullivan. So we'll go Riley Bice first, averaging 74. He has a break even of negative 84, which is great. Only thing, he has the buy. So do I really want to bring someone on who's not going to play this week? You got O'Sullivan, who's averaging 68. Who has a negative 53 break even, which means if he scores a 51, he goes up 50K and he's over 200K already. I think it's a no-brainer. Got to go O'Sullivan this week. Now, before we go any further, Sardis is out. I know that. It's best 18. So I'm going to let it slide. I still have Reed and Trainer. Next week, one of those guys, I feel like Reed could be dropped potentially. One of these guys will become Riley Bice next week. Hasty, there's a chance he could come back in this week, did not play. Harry Boyd, potential the same, but Rowan Marshall scored very well. And I'm pretty happy with everyone else. So fixing up that defense, which once you complete the trades, it leaves me with 34,300 and leaves me with 36 trades as well. Once it comes back, the team is looking a lot better. So O'Sullivan comes in for Roberts this week because he's got the bye. The good thing is Essendon play first. So what I can do is Trainer on field, Reed as the emergency. Now, if Reed scores a 36 again, I will leave him there and I'll leave Trainer there because I think against St Kilda, Trainer might score a little bit better. If Reed pops off and, has a score of, 60 plus, then I'll put Roberts on the field for Trainer. Roberts doesn't play. Emergency comes on. We're loopholing. Lovely. Let's look at the midfield. Callahan comes in for Sardis. And Camperelli is the emergency. Pretty simple. If Hasty plays, he might be the sub, if I'm being honest. So Camperelli will stay there. Happy there. Happy here. Now, this is where things get interesting and where I'm going to have to choose between a few people. I think Davidson has to come on for probably Hewitt, who West Coast and Freo. Hawthorn, GWS. So basically, I have to choose one of Kako, Hewitt, and Stone to be on field here as well. And we've got Nevitt there who will stay there. So that's how the team is going to line up. Um, Pretty happy with it. Um, and I think what my strategy is, Fraser will keep playing that midfield split role, which he could score very well. He scored a 50-point last quarter, which was huge, which got him 100. I'm banking him to have one more spike game and go up to about 420 to 450. And then I can swap him for a fallen primo there. So make some cash off of him or potentially get him up to 450, trade him out to Callum Mills in a couple weeks, bank 100K, and then fix someone else here. Potential. And then definitely next week, either Trainer or Reed will be going to Riley Bice after his bye. Captains, I will get DFS up and we'll go through that quickly, and then I will sort of decide what I'm going to do there. So give me a second. All right, so here we are. I've got all the games up on my phone for this round, so we'll go through everyone there. So first up, we have Essendon versus Port Adelaide. And I think it's fair if we just go inside mids and then leave everyone else. So inside mids, Essendon have Port, which is a red, which means they are a very tough opponent. So you know, Zach Merritt probably will score well. Probably will. Or does Willem Drew go to him? There's a potential tag there. So you go on anyone from Essendon as vice captain? In my opinion, probably not. Where Port Adelaide against Essendon, which is a light green, which is around 2 points from 0 to 2 points. Slight increase. So your Rosies, if you want to bank on Horn Francis coming back, I don't know. You're probably just going Rosie in that game, if I'm being honest. Carlton versus the Bulldogs is an interesting one. We'll stick with the inside mids for now. Carlton Bulldogs is a 0, and Bulldogs against Carlton is a 0. So a very even match. So obviously, Cripps, Walsh, Richards, Libba, these guys, potential to score well. We know how good they are. It's not a bad fixture for them. It's not a good fixture. So you can still look at them. Interesting one, though, we will go to the Rucks because you have Tom DeCon in there. So against the Bulldogs, Tim English gives away up to 5 points on average, which is a great fixture. So Tom DeCon in here could be a good get. And for the Bulldogs, it's a 50-50, so he could still do well. So DeCon definitely. Now we're going to go to the designated kickers because we have Bailey Dale here. So the Bulldogs against Carlton is a 50-50. So this game, me personally, if I go back over here, I'm vice captaining probably Tom DeConning, if I'm being honest. Now we move to Melbourne versus Gold Coast. And basically we're going inside mids or rucks. So Gold Coast against Melbourne give up a lot of points. If you have a Noah Anderson, a Matt Rowell, these types of guys, you could definitely look at that. Now it is in Melbourne. Suns don't usually play too good away. Noah Anderson statistically, the last couple of seasons only scores very high, consistently at home and away. I think he averages like 86 super coach away, but he is the captain now looking to stand up. So what happens there? And we look at Melbourne, Gold Coast, they give away points as well. So you've got your Clayton Olivers, your Petrarcas, definitely someone to look at. Now we're going to go to the Rucks. I think it's going to be a tough a tough matchup for both. So Gold Coast against Melbourne is tough, and Melbourne against Gold Coast is a tough one as well. So probably not looking at Gawn, but we do know how well he can score, and he's probably going to look to bounce back after a rough week. So my opinion would be if you want someone in this game, you're looking only strictly midfield. Now, we move to St Kilda versus Richmond. We'll stick with the rucks. There's a few ruckmen out there. So Richmond against Saints, it's a tougher matchup against the Saints, but against Richmond, plenty of points. So if you have a Rowan Marshall, he could go off here, unless Harry Boyd comes in, which he might. Nank being a bigger body, they might want to try and wear him down. We'll see what happens there. But Marshall, if he's the sole ruck, could see some points. Nank, not so much this week. We're going to go to the inside mids. We've got a few here against Richmond. So Richmond against St Kilda. It's not a great one. You're probably not going to have any of those anyway. And St Kilda against Richmond, a slight above. So Jack McRae is probably the main one here. People might want to jump on him after the 162 last week. There is an average or a point increase against the Richmond midfield, which we were sort of expecting. So could definitely go there. We will check the designated kickers because we've got Wanganeen, Miller, and Short for those who are sticking fat. But against Richmond, Wanganeen, Miller could absolutely go ballistic. And Richmond against Saints, they they give out heaps of points as well. So Marshall, Wanganeen, Miller, who you going? Do you have both or one of those? And are you trying to look to vice captain or captain? Then let me know down below. Hawks versus the Giants. We're only looking at inside mids here. Giants against Hawks is a tough matchup, which is what we thought, and even tougher against GWS. So probably not going in that game. Brisbane versus Geelong. We're going inside mids. Brisbane against Geelong. Geelong give away some points. So you're locking the old Josh Dunkley's here. You're looking there, and Geelong against Brisbane. Brisbane are a 50-50. The only other one is designated kickers, because we have Dane Zorko, who is that man against Geelong, does score very well, teams against Geelong. But there is one thing. There is going to be like 30 to 40 mil of rain scheduled for the game, which means it's going to be wet. It's going to be slippery. That might hurt Zorko more and might help those contested guys. So you're looking here in this game. Zorko, Geelong give up a lot of points, but the weather, the conditions, keep an eye on that, might hurt him more. Where your Neils and your Dunkleys, who are in the contest, there's probably going to be a lot more ball ups, a lot more chance for contested possessions. You could see them do pretty well in the wet. So that's definitely something to think about in that game, but I'm definitely going on the Brisbane side of things. We'll have a quick look at the rucks for those with SDK. Brisbane against Geelong. So Geelong give up points, which is what we thought, and Brisbane, McInerney's a tougher one, which is what we were thinking about. We'll move to the Sunday game. There's only two. So what, Adelaide versus North. So we're going to stick with the rucks because we have Tristan Sherry here. North against Adelaide, tougher matchup, but he did just absolutely pants Max Gawn. So don't count out Sherry yet. We'll go inside mids next. I think that's the safer bet. You got Dawson, Sheasel, LDU. So Adelaide against North is a 50-50, and North against Adelaide slightly tougher. I'm probably not looking for someone in this game for inside mid. We will look at designated kickers though, because we do have Caleb Daniel. North against Adelaide doesn't historically score well, the designated kickers. So probably steering clear of this game, if I'm being honest. And the last game, which we could definitely target here, is West Coast versus Freo. So we've got designated kickers here. We'll keep it there. Freo against West Coast. West Coast it's an orange, so it's negative 2 points. And against Freo are very tough. So your Jordan Clarks here, um, your Luke Ryans. Look at general defenders as well, just because Ryan might have to play that as well. It's a 50-50, yeah. So you're probably not super looking there. Let's check the inside mids, though. This is where the captain opportunities come in. So Freo against West Coast, plenty of points. If you've got a Sarong, you've got a Brayshaw, that could go absolutely huge. There's no tagger. So Caleb Sarong's been tagged the last 2 weeks. That's why he's had the poor scores. No tagger this week. Actually, Jack Graham could be back and maybe do a job, but he's no James Jordan. So I think Sarong goes off this week. And a lot of people will be hesitant to go him. So definitely look there. And no one's got any West Coast players. So um, with that all said, looking at my team, got the VC on DeConning. What else do I like? I can risk it with a McRae. Could risk it with an Oliver. Lockie Neal in the wet. I think my two options is DeConning VC, Lockie Neal captain, or I put the VC on Connor Rosie and captain either DeConning or Lockie Neal. That's what I'm going to look at early at this stage. It's definitely between those three: Neil, Rosie, DeConning. One will be VC, and one will be C. Lockneil will always be a C if I select him. So it's out of these guys, which one's VC to determine that. So that's that done. Now, quickly, I want to, as I said, break even time. Game 3 for most of our players here. So I'm going to go through a whole bunch of break evens. So make sure you listen out. There's going to be a whole bunch of numbers. Go back, watch it a few times if you miss it, if I'm too quick. So I've got my phone here with a whole bunch of names. So let's go through the break evens. We're going to go the rookies first. So I've put rookies in their own category, and then mid prices and primos after that. So the rookie break evens, this is from the highest to the lowest. So Riley Bice, negative 84 break even. Xavier Lindsay, negative 75. Nathan O'Driscoll, negative 75. Henderson from Melbourne, negative 71. Mitch Nevitt, negative 56. Connor O'Sullivan, negative 53. Levi Ashcroft, negative 52. Murphy Reed from Freo, negative 51. Sam Davidson from the Doggies, negative 49. Camperale, negative 44. Jacob Constantine from North, negative 43. Elijah Hewitt, negative 41. Max Hall from the Saints, negative 40. Connor Stone, negative 39 from the Giants. Elijah Sardis, out probably for the next 2 weeks, negative 21. Corey Warner, negative 21 as well. Dan Curtin, negative 19. Tyrell Dewar from West Coast, negative 18. Berry from Port, negative 15. Zach Reed, negative 14. Isaac Kako, negative 12. And same with Jackson Pryor, negative 12. Leak from the Giants, negative 10. Luke Trainer, negative 10. Pal Pepper bounced back and has a break even of 0. Sam Lawler, 1. Archer Reed, 14. And Finn O'Sullivan, 19. So everything negative except for Pal Pepper, who's at an even 0. And Lawler, Archer Reed, and Finn O'Sullivan are all in the positives. Now we'll go to the mid prices and the primos. Once again, lowest to highest. Or low, yeah, highest. Jack McRae, negative 69. Caleb Daniel, negative 46. Josh Sin, negative 12. Rochelle, negative 2. Humphrey, negative 2. Fraser, negative 1. Finn Callahan, 0. Christian Salem, 19. Sam DeConning, 20. Bailey Dale, 29. Clary Oliver, 31. Adam Chera, 32. Caldwell, 37. Matt Kennedy, 39. Rosie, 39. Dunkley, 48. Libba, 53. TDK, 55. Roberts, who has the bye, 57. Zorko, 59. Rankin, 68. Ed Richards, 74. Jordan Dawson, 82. Jordan Clark, 88. Jack Sinclair, 93. Jordan Short, 94. Wanganeen Miller, 96. Lockie Whitfield, 97. Sherry, 105. Perryman, 110. Houston, 110. Zach Merritt, 115. Dacos of the Nick variety, 115 as well. Andy Brayshaw, 125. Will Day, 129. Caleb Sarong, 149. Nank the Tank, 153. Jason Horn Francis, 158. Harry Sheasel, 170. Max Gorn, 180. Lockie Neal, 189. And Luke Ryan, 192. So most of those names should make money once we start getting into the hundreds. So probably from Harry Perriman at 110 onwards, potentially losing on most of those. What trades are you doing this week? You've seen my possible trades. What are you doing? How's your team going? Let me know in the comments. That is going to do it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget you can hit me up on X at Breakevens Pod or on Facebook, The Breakevens. If you have any questions, let me know. Ask, I will answer as soon as I can. I've got a big weekend. Not a whole lot of footy watching in and out of the house. So any questions, let me know. I'll do as much research as I can, even before then, because this is out on the Wednesday. You want to know, do I trade this person out? Do I bring this person in? What's my thoughts? Let me know. I'll answer it, okay? And apart from that, on X, Breakevens Pod, I will have my final team for the round, trades there just before the game starts. So make sure you check that out if you want to keep that going and, keep up to date with that. Also, NRL, let's get top 100. I'm boosting in NRL as well. Hopefully that works out for me. But that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed a lot of yappa, especially at the end with all the break evens. But it is time to make some cash. So I will be back next week. So until then, it is bye for now.